Hi, welcome. I'm Jessie Walters from Charles Rutenberg, and I'm here today with Delynn Gaston from the mortgage firm. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to talk about all sorts of interesting things that's going on with the market, the crazy real estate market, and the crazy mortgage industry too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is nuts.
It's nuts.
It is. So my first question, or I guess comment, is the interest rates. What do you think, and how is that? Do you think it's making things slow down, or?
I do. I do. So the rise in rates, a lot of people think that, they hear on the news, rates are going up, rates are going up. Keep in mind, that's not necessarily mortgage rates that are going up. Mortgage rates are going up, but what you're hearing on the news is the Fed funds rate. The Fed funds rate, the Federal Reserve is raising interest rates,
right.
Which is like for lack of better phrase, the bank overnight lending rate to each other. So when that goes up, that just basically means everything is getting more expensive, is
right.
what it means. And we've all experienced that, right?
Yeah,
Gone to
exactly.
the gas pump lately?
True. True.
So I have to see, side note.
Yeah, go ahead. I need to hear this. Yeah.
Did you know gas pumps turn off at $100?
No way.
Unfortunately, I learned that.
I was like, you have the boat of a
gas
car.
in my car.
Yeah.
Yes, gas pumps turn off when they hit $100.
I love your car. You're driving an Escalade. I never even thought of that.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
And you know what? I know. And I always wanted one, and now I'm thinking of getting rid of it.
Oh.
But anyway, so with all of the prices going up and everything, now the Fed basically has to raise rates in order, and what's going on is it's because inflation is getting out of control, and in order to
get inflation
in control, they're going to have to do this because they're trying to slow things down. So that's what the government has to do right now.
Trying to put the brakes on the
exactly, because it's just people have been a little overzealous in their buying in the last 2 years.
Yeah. So they were like, let's stimulate the economy. Let's lower interest rates to nothing. Let's just have free money. And so everybody went hog wild.
Everybody went hog wild with the free money.
Yeah.
Yep, the free money, the low interest rates and things like that. People were cashing out on their houses, just a lot of that going on.
And then COVID got everybody sitting at home, and they were like, what can I do? And what if I get stuck here at home again? And let's do some home improvements. So you got the refinances, and then you got the you know what, this house isn't big enough. We got stuck here at home, doesn't have a home office, let's move. And so you have all that, and like you said, stimulating the economy, low interest rates. So now we're starting to see them go up. And when you were approved, I think you made this point last time, is that when you were approved for $300,000 or $400,000, now you need to get with your lender or call Delynn, because you might not be approved for the $400. It might be $350 or
And sometimes people don't realize that. They don't understand that yes, what you're approved for, what your pre-approval letter was for, is determined based upon your income and your debts, but also your interest rate. What is the interest rate? So if you were approved, even in January, I was going to say last year, sometime last fall, because I do still have some people from last year who still are out there house hunting. But the pre-approval has definitely gone down, because the higher the interest rate, the less you qualify for, because that means the higher your payment. And keep in mind, when a mortgage person is pre-approving you, we're not pre-approving you for here's $400,000. That's not how it works. We approve you for a maximum payment based upon what your income is and your debts are. This is the maximum monthly payment you can afford.
Yeah, based on your debt ratio.
Exactly. That's what it is. So it's based on your payment. And obviously, with the interest rates going up, that's going to lessen how much payment you can afford.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I was trying to tell, because I just had the one we were discussing before we actually got on, and it was like they've increased their, because there's hardly anything for sale, so they were at like $250 as far as their searches, and now they've took it to, let's go to $325. So and we need to have that talk, but I didn't. I just said, sure, I did the searches, $325. Hopefully they haven't got pre-approved 6 months ago, and now the interest rates are gone up, So hopefully we're on.
That's why
check them.
That's why a little plug for my company. So what we have is the Quick Qual app, and I think you've used it because that's updated all the time, so they will be able to see. So if you put their searches up to 325 and they find a house for 325, they plug that in there. It's going to tell them if they're qualified for that or not.
Right. More cash down
before they call you and say, we want to go see this house.
I'm like, let me just run a couple numbers on this real quick. But that is great though, because literally when you send that that over, and it's it shows them pre-qualified. Press a button, there's your pre-approval that you
Right.
just send them, because
Right.
some realtors are like, I have to call them, and it's Saturday, like you said, or
Right.
Sunday,
Right.
and no one's there, and they're approved for $250, but they're approved for $350, so you just putting a bid for $300, just put it in, and if they are approved, it prints it
It'll
out.
tell you.
Yeah,
Right.
it's easy, just attachment.
And if they're not approved,
it'll also tell you.
it'll also tell you you're not going to be able
Sad.
to print a letter.
That's what, yeah, because I was like, what's wrong with this thing? It's not
It's not letting you print the letter,
Yeah,
and
it's
then
not
you
letting
read
me
the
download.
fine print next to
Yeah.
it. Oh, it says they're not approved
Yeah.
for this.
Yeah, I'm like, darn it. Do you guys have any cash?
Yeah.
Or do you have a rich
Because
aunt?
that's the other thing that we put in is what is their maximum cash that they have on hand to
Right.
put towards this. Because that is the thing. Okay, well, then maybe if we put a little bit more money down, well, I also have the maximum cash that they have as well.
Yeah.
Now, like you said, if they have a rich aunt.
Yeah, I always pull that card out last, because I'm like, well, what about your, rich aunt? And they still think it's another thing too. People think they can co-sign like a car.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, well, I can have my mom co-sign. I don't have good credit, or I don't have enough credit. My mom could co-sign. I'm like, well, your mom's not really co-signing. Your mom's applying for a loan,
Yes.
And if you're on there, you're probably bringing your mom down,
I know. And that's the funny thing. You're absolutely correct. You bring an excellent point, because a lot of people just think it's just like a little car loan or something like
Yeah.
that. Just have mom
It's only
sign.
30-year
Yeah,
30-year
exactly.
promise.
And yeah. No. Mom has to qualify as well.
Yeah.
Everything I'm asking you, I need to ask mom.
Right.
Because she has to, she's
Yeah.
just as obligated on it as you are.
Yeah, and I just had one, and she said she can't qualify, so I said, well, do you want me to get your mom qualified? And then she said, oh, my mom could get it, no problem. And I said, well, why don't you, because she's in this home, and she's trying to buy it from a seller that I have, and so I said, well, why don't you get your mom to purchase it, and you build your credit, pay your mom, as a secondary investment property for your mom, for 6 months, it's seasoned, right? Is it 6 months? It has to be, you have to own it for 6 months before you can sell it?
It depends on what they're doing with it. No,
Oh, okay.
You can sell it.
Oh, okay.
We have flippers all the time who sell it
Okay.
in 30 days.
All right, so I told her, I'm like, if you wait 6 months to build your credit, and then you could purchase it
But
back
it would
from your mom,
probably take 6 months to build your credit.
Yeah, so she had said that, I don't know, they were doing like the fancy footwork on her credit and stuff like that, so I'm like, okay, good luck, let me know, so, but that's going to be a new listing, but sometimes, when you look at pictures online, and so I have an out-of-state seller, and I went to the house and looked and stuff, and when you're an out-of-state seller and you're like, your pictures don't speak a million words, pictures you can't, you can't,
Right.
so you have to kind of say, well, here, this is the picture, but so you're going to need, and I'm one of those people that's good at, you need a new roof, you need new flooring, and I might sound like it's almost aggressive, because I'm like, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to paint the baseboards, you got to probably repaint this kitchen, it has drip marks all down, and grease there, you know what I mean? You need the flooring, you need this, and I don't know if she was like, oh, that's great, thanks for the list, or she was like, oh my gosh.
Thanks for the list. Yeah, somehow maybe she wasn't thinking,
Yeah.
thanks for the list.
I think she was like, oh my gosh, she thinks I need everything, I'm like, let's start with the roof and we'll work down, But, if you ask, but I always take into what customer I have too. Like, so if you live there and and it's your homestead and you're in this home, I can't walk through and, you know what I mean? I can walk through and just say what, little things, and take your personal pictures down and little things like that to help you. But if you say, what would you do? Then it opens this can up that, a can of worms that is going to be never ending of like, what you should do, to get the max money out.
Yes.
So if people want me to just tell them lightly, I can tell kind of by their faces when I start, reeling, like, take those curtains down that look like the haunted house mansion. You know what I mean? Like, when I walked in, they go, do you see anything that really sticks out? I'm like, you're going to have to take those. The house looks modern, and then you have these ancient curtains at the front, at the front door and the front window, and they say, oh, really? They look that bad? But is a gut man, a gentleman. He was like, I guess they do. And I'm like, it's because you're a guy. Just take him down. It'll be all right. He's obviously sold above.
But that's good because you're a fresh set of eyes going in.
Yeah.
Because you don't realize it when you live there, because he probably
True.
didn't even like recognize the curtains or whatever.
True.
I got curtains up,
Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
I'm going off.
Exactly. And it, too, there's smells in your house too. So if you eat a lot of curries, or if you like your spicy food, or if you have a cat.
Fry anything.
If you fry, if you just had a party and people were barbecuing, all that stuff, you don't realize because it's
Lingers.
and you don't know because it's your home and you're kind of like used to those. So I had one customer, he said, what do you think I should do? And it wasn't that the house, it didn't smell, it just, sometimes it's more inviting when you have like a, I think it was like a nice smell. So I always say like, put all your lights on, put your fans on, put your air conditioning so it's crisp, put your jazz music on, put a smell good candle.
Right.
So he went to Publix and he's like, oh, they're on their way. So he's like, this is the reason I sold the house, birthday cake candle, puts it in the house. We get an offer immediately. He's got all the jazz music on, lights. Looks like a lounge, Got the feel good candles, smell good, and then people are like, "Wow, this house is amazing."
Because people want to come in and feel comfortable.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. They want to come in and feel comfortable, right?
And you have to, exactly. So like if you have your house and you like cows, that was a thing, everybody had the black and white cow patterns. If you
the chickens.
Yeah.
I never understood the chickens.
They're always
the
in the
hens,
kitchens.
whatever it was.
They're always in the kitchens
What
on the
was
tops,
that?
the chickens.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know, but I've been in some houses that actually have chickens in their kitchens, like actual chickens in their
Real
actual
chickens.
cupboards, real chickens in their cupboards.
No way.
Yeah, I have.
Are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
it was. I have. I wasn't selling the one house, but I was in England, and they had. It was a rental house in England, and they were taking me just to see it, and they had a couple families, and they had a chicken in the couple chickens in the cupboard, the kitchen cupboards, and I was like, never. I haven't seen that in Florida.
Okay.
I haven't seen that in Florida, but I've seen some chickens. In unique places, like in their garages, in their, at their houses, where you're not really, in residential neighborhoods that you're not supposed to have, I don't think you're supposed to have chickens in Magnolia Valley, but I've seen some chickens in Magnolia Valley, Newport Richie, some of those places, but the little character chickens and the cows and stuff like that, I'm like, just go around with a box and just collect just make it so that someone can visualize their items in the house, like, because if you have it's all, like that red wall was that was a big thing. Red wall, everyone had the red wall.
I know I have one.
Do you have one?
Yes.
Yeah, I had one. Mine's gray now. But it took a while but like if you were selling your house, depending on how it looks, like I've gone and said the red wall, because red wall was like 6 years ago. So
probably.
So 6 to 8. So now your red wall is kind of turned like maybe not yours, but it's turned like your shirt. It's turned like a purpley.
Maroon.
So they lightened and stuff. So now if you want it to look crisp and you're selling, then I'll say, put a neutral color on there.
Right.
But if you're staying 20 years, paint whatever you want. Paint it, what I mean?
Right.
Zebra stripes, who cares?
But you're right. When you're looking online and you see some of these houses with like turquoise walls, and things like that. What was the other one? That I don't know. There was like a lime green. I've been seeing.
And green is back. So I've seen a lot of exterior colors back with the sage green and so in the bathrooms. So when I'm selling a house, say it's 1960s, the colors in the bathrooms are all back in. So I'm like, wow, look, it's retro, and this is all back in again,
The
avocado.
pink tile.
Yeah, and that light blue.
Yes.
Guess what? You're good. We're all back. Yeah, there was a lady in River Crossing, Newport Richie, just the best. Oh, yeah, you met her. We were out at her house, Lorraine.
Oh,
remember?
yes.
So I sold that house 2 years ago, and someone is now, those sellers are reselling that house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And and it still looks exactly the same.
And she even had one of those little bars and the, it reminded me of a Brady Bunch house.
Yeah. They didn't do anything at all, and it's up like, I want to say like $100,000.
Oh my gosh.
And the one, also I sold in Port Richie, I showed you guys that house in Port Richie.
The little one?
Yeah. That house is up for sale.
Again?
Yeah, it's up for sale. And I just sold that. It feels like the other week, but it was like, I think it was like 8 months ago. It's for sale. I think it's like 20 or 30 grand over the price.
Where it was before.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I
Yep,
don't know what
see?
happened, but yeah. So.
Nothing, because
wanna
that
make
house was all redone.
Yeah. And you will, so I think that people go like, well, I bought this house, because that was a small, very small house. It was like,
Right.
I want to say it was 250 or 225. So they sell that house and they go, well, I can get 250 for this, but they don't realize all the closing costs of switching the title and paying the commissions.
I know.
And all
I
that
know.
stuff and transferring and all that recording. So, I mean, you might make 5 or 10 grand, but you're not making 25 as it looks on paper, you
Right,
know?
right.
So, because they're like, oh, there's $25,000 equity, but there's not really, you know, when you put all that, the numbers and stuff. But yeah, so if you have that retro looking house, I usually say, right
Keep
now, just keep it. We'll see what we got.
We're fine.
Yeah. Then if my customers come in as buyers, I go, hey, before you guys rip anything out, I want you to have like a, 70s party in here. Have everybody wear their 70s stuff, Yeah, it's crazy, but yeah, you try to stage it, you try to help your customers out and stuff like that. But right now, as we were saying, you don't have to do much to sell things these days, even with the interest rates
But
creeping
you do
up.
have to have it clean. and
Yeah.
You do have to have it decluttered, like you
Yeah.
were saying. Clean out some of that stuff. There was a
Yeah.
house that I did an open house over the weekend, and oh my goodness, this. So the house was built in 2000, and it was the original, and it was the model home.
Okay.
And it was the original buyer of the
Oh,
model
wow,
home.
okay.
So elderly woman, she lost her husband recently, and that house is so chock full.
Yeah.
With stuff. And the neighbor helped her move a whole bunch of stuff out of the house. So the garage
It's just full?
is full,
That's what-
boxes, like
yeah.
floor to ceiling, and you have a pathway in the garage. And all of that stuff was in the house. So, and it's still packed and full.
Yeah.
So it's hard for people to see, I think, when they
Visualize,
come in.
yeah. And you
yeah.
got 30-day close, so you figure, I mean, how am I going to move this person out? As a realtor, I think you have to kind of give them, help them with a plan. Like, do you have a family member that can help you move? Do you have movers to help you pack the stuff
Right.
up? If it's really cluttered up. I had one in Timber Oaks in Port Richey, and she had newspapers on each side, and we just would walk through like the maze.
Oh my God.
And she would not have.
was a hoarder.
Yeah, she would not have it that it needed to be decluttered or anything. So I figure it's going to be like we're under contract. That's what it was. We got under contract, and then it was like, do you have, we need the family to come help because you're not, obviously listening to me because you're still in there with your, because newspapers, we don't even really even have newspapers much,
No.
Yeah. It was crazy, but we did get it sold. But that was in the days where we were, it was a buyer's market, it wasn't a seller's market, so it's different. But we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to talk to you about the ribbon. I don't know how much, but that's for people that are just mortgaging and want to be cash buyers. So stay tuned. Hi, welcome back. I'm Jessie Walters. I'm here today with Delynn Gaston. Thank you for joining me from the mortgage firm. We're going to talk about if you're getting a mortgage and you're approved for conventional, right? How to switch that to an actual cash transaction.
Right.
So now it's all on you.
So there is a new program out there, and it is called Ribbon, and there's not a lot of lenders doing it right now. We are definitely one of the lenders that are offering the program.
Okay.
And like I said, it's where you can turn your financed offer into a cash offer. So Ribbon basically has 3 programs. There's
Okay.
3 different options, so to speak, that you have. So, and each of the options cost differently because, of course, it's not a free program, right?
Right.
Basically, what they're doing, I like to call it, it's like a safety net.
Okay.
So the first program, my safety net program is, so, and I have this going on right now. I have a young couple who have been trying to buy homes, and they're putting offers in at all these houses, and they're getting outbid by cash offers.
Right.
Just the sellers are taking cash, and that's it. So this is giving them the opportunity to put in a cash offer. So what they do is, you as the realtor, the first thing you do is we invite you into the portal. It's a separate portal, and you will be able to put the address of the property that they want to make an offer in on. So let's say they see this house and it's listed at $300,000. And as you know, people are bidding over asking price, right?
Right.
So you know, my young people here, they're like, well, we can probably go $20,000 over asking price. Well, what if you don't have to go $20,000 over asking price, right? What if you can just either do asking price because you're going in as a cash buyer,
Right.
or maybe just not $20,000, but maybe just $10,000 over asking price. Again, because you're a cash buyer, then
Yeah.
you'll get accepted. Well, so what happens is you as the realtor will put the address in. This is the home that they're interested in, into the portal. Within 24 hours, the Ribbon appraisal team looks at that, and they will come back to you and say, okay, so if they want to put an offer in on this house, it's listed at $300,000, the most we're going to do is $325,000.
Okay.
So they'll tell you right away, they're guaranteeing up to $325,000. So if your people go in and it starts a negotiating thing, maybe you do an escalation clause or something
Right,
like that.
right.
We're going to start at $310,000 and we'll go up to, whatever you want to go up to. You can go all the way to $325,000, and Ribbon is going to guarantee that amount. They are
Okay.
going to back whatever your offer is, as long as you're not over $325,000.
Okay.
So that's the first safety net that you have. So then what happens is, so let's say they go in at, $315,000.
Right.
And say, Ribbon said they can go all the way to $325,000. Let's say they go in at $315,000 and they get the offer.
Okay.
We start the processing of the file just like any other file. So you have done a contract, you've checked off the cash box. Yes, this is a cash offer. You have an addendum in there that's saying this is a Ribbon loan. So what do listing agents do, right? When you get all of these offers coming in, you make 3 piles. Here's our
Yeah.
cash offer,
Yeah.
here's our conventional offer, and here's our government offer. And the first thing you look at is the cash offer. That's where our people are.
Right,
They're
right.
in that stack. So, and they're saying, oh, look at this, we have a cash offer of $315,000. Well, how cool is this? So our
Right.
offer gets accepted. So we start the processing on our end in the mortgage world. We start the processing of that file.
And you know what? I just had one the other day, and it was the one that I had 32 offers in. We went
Oh
with,
my gosh.
Yeah, and we went literally with the second highest because the first highest, I told them, honestly, you have the offer, but I need you to change this closing date because we're not sure on the court. It was a guardianship. So the court had to, and they said, no, we want it in 2 weeks. And I said, okay, I'm going to go over this again. If you just change this and open this up for for 6 weeks, it's probably not going to be that long, but then you have the offer. And they said, no, 2 weeks or you don't have a deal. So we went to the next cash offer, and they said cash, da-da-da. Anyway, they switched the loan, they switched it to a hard money lender in the middle of the actual cash offer, which is kind of a big deal because you've got your seller and it's through a court system, and I've told them it's cash, and they said, well, a hard money lender is the same thing. And I'm like, it is, but it's not, because now now
You still
there's
have to get a loan.
there's a binder,
Right.
now there's a lender involved. Now the lender's calling and verifying that I'm not related to the actual buyer, and to verify that there's really 32. So I've seen a lot of realtors, my point was I've seen a lot of realtors say it's cash and then they switch it on you, you know,
Right.
and you're under contract now. And then on these, we took one with no inspection period because it was pretty much like, it needs everything. So if you're going to
Okay.
come out, we're not going to give you an allowance anyway. So take the inspection period off and you got it. And they were like, okay, we got it, you know. But they did switch to hard money lender and it did go through. But it was like, you guys, I told you cash. It has
Some
to be
people are
cash.
switching from conventional to FHA in the middle too.
Yeah.
They're
That's a
like,
no-no.
we just want to get the offer. So they're basically
Yeah.
lying on the contract and
And-
saying we're a conventional
And
buyer,
they're lying
and they're
about
not.
their down payments too. They put like, we just put that we had 40,000. I said, so as a listing agent, I say, send me over proof of funds of your 40,000 now because they're just, I mean, I know everybody's in a bad place trying to get the houses, but I
Right.
have to, if I'm your seller's agent, I have to watch for my customers. So if you have 40,000, I need you to send that over. And they're all like, well, we might not go with that now. We might have to go with 20,000. And then the proof of funds comes over and I'm like, I'm not calling them out, but I'm kind of like calling,
Right,
because you get
right.
to the shifty, you know. But so anyway, I like the
But the
addendum
ribbon
on this.
program, yes, you
Yeah, the
know we're at
addendum,
up front,
so
exactly.
yeah,
So it's
you got
checked off
cash.
cash, yes, but there's an addendum explaining that this is.
How they're getting the cash.
Exactly, how they're getting the cash.
Okay.
So under this, again, the 3 programs that we have with Ribbon. So the first one, and so we're financing along. Again, it was listed at 300. Our people offered 315, got the
it.
offer accepted.
Yep.
The maximum that Ribbon would have backed it for is 325 anyway. So now we're going along and an appraisal gets done, and let's say the appraisal only comes in at 310. We offered 315.
Right.
Ribbon eats the difference.
Oh, wow.
Ribbon backs it, and they are eating the difference of that. So what you've done to your finance buyers, you've removed the appraisal contingencies because
Right.
they're going to back anything up to 325. So you've removed that, and you've removed the financing contingency, because what happens as we're processing the loan and everything is going through just fine, we get to the end and maybe somebody lost their job, maybe they went to Home Depot and bought a sit-down lawnmower, whatever the
Yeah.
thing is, something happened, and in the end, the loan can't happen. Ribbon is still going to step in and buy that house for cash.
Okay.
So that's the safety net right there. So, and then
are they-
again, they lost their, let's say they lost their job or something like that, and now our debt ratio doesn't work, or, something happened and, they didn't think it was going to hurt to co-sign their son's car loan.
Right.
I've had that happen
Right.
too, for $700 a month.
Yeah, you're like,
Oh, but I'm just a co-signer on it.
Yeah,
That
no.
means you're legally obligated
Yeah,
on
your
it.
debt ratio
So
changed.
just went through the roof. So anyway, so something weird happens, and for whatever reason, it can't close with the financing, and Ribbon has to step in and buy cash. So Ribbon steps in and buy cash. They still allow these people to move into the house and rent from them, and they give them basically 6 months to figure out what went wrong as to
Right.
why we couldn't close in the first place and fix it.
right, okay.
So something happened,
That's good.
let's get it
And-
fixed, and then they will sell it back to
And
them
I
in 6 months.
need, me, drum roll, and how much is this beautiful
Yes,
service going to cost
I know,
me?
exactly. So this is just program 1. Program
Okay.
1, it costs 1%.
1%.
That's it. So instead of paying $20,000 over on
Yeah.
asking price,
Cost you
right?
$3,250.
Cost you $3,000.
3,150.
Right.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's a big difference. So if you're
then
in your
in six-
mindset, I've got to pay over asking price anyway, this could be a way better option, than paying
a point.
$20,000 over asking price.
And are their interest rates reasonable when they switch?
Regular rates.
Okay.
Regular rates. So program 2.
Okay.
So on the same thing.
I got one down. Bring it on.
One down. Bring it
Okay.
on. Okay, program 2. Program 2 is if the people know pretty much right up front. Okay, so we have a bankruptcy and it's not seasoned for another 3 months or something like that. We'd love to buy right now. Rates are going up. Here's the perfect house or whatever, but I still have to wait 3 months on my bankruptcy, or whatever the case might be. Sometimes people have a house up north that they're selling,
right.
and they can't support both houses, right? Their debt ratio doesn't allow them to support the house up north as well as this.
Sell contingencies now too.
And they don't want to, exactly. The sellers are not accepting contingencies to sell my house right now. So this gives them the opportunity to buy the house right now. So they talk to Ribbon again. We run it through the portal. You as the realtor, you put it into the portal, and Ribbon says the most will go on this house is, $400 or something like that, whatever it might be. They go with the whole thing, make the offer. Ribbon will step in and buy the house, let the people move in, rent it, and then they will, once
6
they're
months again,
sell that house up north or whatever, sell it back to them.
Okay, so interest rates are normal. What's my down payment on this? The same as a normal?
Whatever you would want, whatever your normal down payment would be.
Okay, so whatever you're approved for just switches into a loan after. Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
So that program, keep in mind, this is a nationwide program, and the fees vary state to state.
Okay.
So program number 1 is 1% in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
I want to say that because I know that this is internet, and internet goes, everywhere.
Yep.
Program number 2 is in the state of Florida is 2.75%.
Okay, so they're going to get you for 400,000. You're probably like 10 by time, right?
15,000-ish or something like that.
Okay.
That's what that one's going to cost you. Program number 3 is what they call the rescue program. And this is somebody who started going through their whole financing and everything, not a part of Ribbon, they just did the regular thing, and you hear, this is the horror story, people.
Yeah.
Right at the last minute, oh my gosh, she co-signed her son's car loan, she did whatever, something happened at the very end to blow this up, and now people are panicked. I'm going to lose my earnest money deposit, all the money I spent on an appraisal, on home inspections, all this stuff, and I'm going to lose this this house now. And you've got wives in tears, and where are we going to live? We already sold our house, that kind of a thing. Ribbon, it's called Ribbon Rescue. They will step in, and they will purchase the house, rent it to them until whatever gets fixed, and then sell it back to them. That, because it didn't start off as a Ribbon loan, that costs them in the state of Florida 3 to 3.25%.
Okay. Okay. So, and then and all these are 6% to switch back if you're trying to say, you take your name off that car loan that you're trying to get your kid to refinance it.
Right. So
you have 6 months on all 3 of those programs to.
Right. You have 6 months to figure it out and get it fixed.
So it's 1, 2, 3%. Okay, I got it.
Yep.
Okay, and then if you're conventional 5% down, that 1% is due at closing too, or is it in the loan?
That's a great question. So actually, at the time when they go into contract, when they first sign the contract, and they're putting up their earnest money deposit, that's when it's due.
Okay.
And they actually charge the 2.75% at that point.
Okay.
And if everything goes fine, and with your lender you end up closing on time, Ribbon, out of that 2.75% that you put into your earnest money deposit, Ribbon takes the 1%, which is all on the closing statement, and the other 1.75% that you put down goes to the rest of your closing costs.
Oh, that's good. So it's on the closing statement. That's good, because you're going to have to bring it anyway, so you might as well.
Exactly. So it's all up front, because they don't know which way you're going to go. Are you going to end up here, or are you going to end up, in program number 1 or program number 2?
Right. And so how long have you been, because this just came out?
Brand new program. I've only had it for like a month, I think.
Wow.
And I have 2 in process right now, and everything's going great on them.
Okay.
One of my couples, I told you, they had they made like 11 offers on houses, and they got outbid every single time.
Yeah.
And when we switched them into this program, the second offer got accepted.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. So now so there's no loan approval. No. So do they still send an appraisal? Oh, you said they do, because they do the. I always call it the drive-by or the laptop, the computer desktop appraisal, just 24 hours. Then you send an actual real appraiser out, just the same timeline. So you still have home inspection. So what if what if you go forward and the home inspection is unacceptable? Still same guidelines per contract?
If they want to back out, they can back out.
Okay. And do they get their 1% back, or is there a penalty? Okay.
Yep.
Wow, that's good. That's interesting.
Yeah. It really is. It's a wonderful protection.
Yeah.
Protection for the buyers.
Yeah, and if it goes
And it
good,
gives
you're at
them-
1%.
Levels the playing field a little
yeah,
bit.
Yeah,
You know.
Yeah, and if nothing, if everything just goes smooth, you're just at 1%. You got
That's
a
it.
normal loan.
Yep.
Because
And that's what I've got going right now. I've got two
right.
of them.
And I can justify it by going, this 1%, you're going to be paying this for the points because interest rates are going up. So you need to,
Well, and just say, would you rather pay $20,000 over asking price, or would you rather pay, $3,100?
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
it's
if
a
in their
no-brainer.
mind they know that they have, because everybody right now in their mind they all know I'm going to have to pay over asking price.
Right.
I'm going to have to go 5,000 over, 10,000 over, 20,000 over.
Exactly.
They're prepared for that. So I'm telling them, don't go over asking price. This might be a great option.
Right.
Because cash buyers, and you know this from being a listing agent as well, cash buyers out there, they're lowballing.
Yeah.
There was one
They
of them,
still,
one of my
yeah.
agents that I was talking to, she has the house listed for like 280.
Yeah.
And somebody came in and said, I'll give you 185 cash.
Yeah, I get them all
Really?
the time.
185 cash?
I know, and by law, you have to tell the seller what every offer is. So I'm like, hey, you got, same exact scenario. I won't go into which house, but it is listed around 300, and I got 203. And she's, I'm not going to take that. I'm like, I know, but by law, I have to tell you. And then the next one's like, 215, another cash buyer. And I automatically just say, we have offers way over this. Would you wait 30 days for a financed offer to make, $70,000? I think you take a chance with them, Oh no, it's cash, but this is cash. I'm like, yeah, my customer, I'm going to educate them so they're not going to be like, oh, it's cash and I can close in 2 weeks. And it's only going to cost me 70, 80 grand, I'd rather them just wait it out for a loan. So I'm probably
I know.
some of the selling agents though, they just see the cash and they know it's for sure and everybody's got bills to pay and they just tell the sellers to take it. But it like I said, I got 203, like 215, 230, and we're like looking at 300. And I also got financed, on the other end with, the 300. So it's
Right.
like we were
Right.
do the math.
So with ribbon, if instead of your $300,000 house that the cash people are offering $200,000 on, $100,000 less or $215, if you go in at $300
Yeah,
at
they'll
their
rip your
asking
arm
price
off.
and
Yeah.
on cash,
Yeah.
you're
Done.
probably going to get the deal.
Done deal. Oh, we got to go to break, but I got to ask you, when we get back, I want to know, because I know you said just switches to the loan that you have. So my next question is going to be, can you use a VA loan with that?
And the answer is no.
Yeah, there's no. I was going to say stay tuned. We
We'll
got to
talk
find
about
out.
it.
Yeah. Okay, we'll be right back. Stay tuned. Hi, welcome back. I'm Jessie Walters with Charles Rutenberg. I'm here today with Delynn Gaston from the mortgage firm. And we're talking about the new ribbon program that's pretty interesting. And we were also talking about just how you're trying to get a property in the state of Florida and you want your offer accepted. And I always talk about this, like some hints. And of course, if I'm your agent, I'll really help you get a house. But
Right.
I'm willing to tell Delynn some of my secrets to get your house accepted. So
I have so many people who are out there looking
Gather
at
around,
houses.
friends.
I know.
So a lot of times the misconception is that, okay, so on cash, obviously, when I get loads of different offers, cash, they always say cash is king, and we do put cash in that front, offer, in conventional, then FHA and VA.
Just like I said,
as a
your
third.
3 piles.
Yeah. You're right. Okay, that's true. And now the cash, if I get a cash offer, and it's close to the conventional offer. Like I was saying, I'm not that agent who's like always take the cash. If you can waive that appraisal and show me the cash that you're going to put up, you're kind of evening it here. And if your offer is substantially more than this cash offer, so in other words, would you wait 30 days for 20 grand? Would you wait 30 days for 30 grand? And I will tell my sellers that too, like, hey, this is a cash offer, it's 2-week close, But a lot of times people, when they're going through this, if they live in this home, they don't necessarily want that 2-week close. They want 30 days, 45 days.
They need time to move out.
Yeah. So what you need to do is, as a buyer's agent, you need to, now a lot of times the seller's agents are very hard to get a hold of, but if you do get them on the phone, and in seller's agents, you need to pick up the phone or respond to text, which I always do, because you're literally just hurting your seller by not so becoming the rock star.
And have you noticed that happens a lot?
That happens a lot.
I've heard that a lot.
Yeah.
Some of the agents that I'm working with, and they'll say they want to put an offer in this house, and I'm like, great, let's get it. And then she goes, no, because it's so and so, and I have such a hard time. They never answer their phone.
So I will call, and then they won't answer, and then I'll text, and then I'll say, hey, that one hint's going to be like, what is your seller looking for closing dates? That's a key thing, because you could have the same exact offer, and this seller says, I want to close on, June 30th. And you go, okay, June 30th. And then you don't know, and you're like, we can close June 15th. Well, I know now June 30th is the perfect date for that seller. So I'm beating you just by that closing date. So I got that on my side now. So now ideally it would be the inspection period. Just go through it, put 0 days, and just take the house as is and hold your breath and just pray. But some buyers obviously still want to have a home inspection. So I would take that down to, I would call a home inspector as I'm filling out the paperwork and say, can I get you out there in 5 days? Usually I'll put 5 days. Or if he says, I have Monday open, I'll say 3 days. But I'll try to get that home inspection period down. And if
lowered.
And if it's a newer home, I don't try to talk them into no home inspection, but I will suggest, you're probably going to win if you don't take a home inspection period, but let's try to put this down to at least 5 days. So now I got that key closing date. I know a home inspection in 5 days. And then, like if it's again, financed, if they're 100% and they say, I don't care what's wrong with it, I'm taking it, I would have you probably order the appraisal as soon as possible. I'd call you up and say, did you order the appraisal yet? Because I know that could be back ordered if I get the offer. But so now I'm just trying to, so I've got my key, and now the acceptance date. A lot of people get scared because they're like, well, if you don't accept my offer within 24 hours, I'm only going to put 24 hours on there. But make sure you go to that the MLS and read the realtor remarks, because most of the time it'll say bids due by Sunday at 6 o'clock. So you put your acceptance date as Friday at 6 o'clock. Then, it's going to be open until Sunday. And then sometimes if you go there and the seller's in the house and they're very stressed and people are in and out, you can contact the agent and say, what if we were to make the right offer right now? Your seller didn't look like they liked 50 people going in and out of their house. You know what I mean? And sometimes they'll take it off the market. If you reach out, if you reach out and say, I'll just make the offer. And if they go, that's not high enough, you go, well, what's high enough? If they answer the phone and stuff like that. Most of the time they're going to have that bid deadline. So acceptance date's going to match the bid deadline. Your closing date is going to be whatever that seller's agent told you. That home inspection period is going to be minimally 5 days at the most, but make sure you're in tight with the home inspector who will actually go out, or call me, I can give you my home inspector who will fit you in, So with those.
Are you finding they're taking a little longer too, home inspections?
They are, but I think if you use them enough that they'll, even if it's 6 o'clock, they're like, we don't want to work at 6 o'clock, but we'll get it in if you do business with them.
Because you do business with them.
Yeah.
But new agents who don't have that kind of relationship probably are going to
they'll have to call a friend. You know what I mean?
And that's the other thing. How important is it to you if you're the listing agent? Let's put your listing agent hat on for a minute. If you're the listing agent and you're getting all the, like on that one house, you said you got 30 offers in or whatever. How important is it the buyer's agent?
How important
who the buyer's agent is.
So I have had a lot of
experienced person. Is it a brand spanking
I feel bad
new
because
person?
a lot of my newbies watch this and I love them, but I'm like, if you get stuck and you're then you need to I mean, you just reach out to the agent that you're under contract with, because like sometimes I don't know the buyer's agents, they're new and stuff, you know, and so I'll work with them, and I'm like, you know, they seem very nice and stuff. They don't know what they're doing, but they're
trying.
Yeah, they're trying, and
Right.
and we all had to start somewhere, so
Right.
I understand. So, but a lot of times I get very frustrated because like I had the one. And I had to explain to her, hard money loan isn't not the same thing as cash, because now you have now there's a binder, now you got to get insurance, now
Right.
there's a lien on the property, now, all that
Yes.
stuff, and it's going to take a little longer and stuff. So she pulled it off, but she didn't know, like she
Right.
pleaded,
Right.
that she didn't know. So, but and then I had another one, and she, did stuff like, which again, she was new. She gave her phone number to the seller, to my sellers, her phone number, and then so that they could talk to her direct. Which I was like, what are you doing? Because literally, if that ever happens as an agent, if you're like, I've had it before where they'll say, you're the buyer's agent, can I get your number? And I say, well, because I'll hand them my card when I come in, and they'll call me. Sometimes they'll call me, and I'll call their agent and say, hey, she's reached out to me. I'm not sure what it's about. Do you mind if I call her back, or do you want to find out what it's about? Then I'll call back.
Which is the professional thing to do.
But
Right.
a lot of new
Professional
agents
courtesy.
are just like, oh, your sellers were so nice, and a lot of my sellers are very nice people. Most of them are,
Right, right.
And so she was calling them direct. She was doing a lot of stuff that she shouldn't have been doing. But again, you got to learn somehow. And I literally left her, though. I didn't correct her on anything. So whoever gets her next, good luck. But she was very, very nice. I was like, whatever. But I was thinking about it. Like, I'm like, all the times I must have messed something up, But like I said, we all start somewhere. But if you, literally back to the offer, if when I talk to you on the phone, I can kind of tell when like I had one, like I was saying, the gentleman with the VA loan. He was so motivated, and he's new, and he was bragging off his stats and telling it, and that's kind of what you have you feel like you have a couple seconds to represent your client, so I mean, I have, I've been doing this 16 years, and I know what I'm doing. I just wanted to put that out there, right? So that they automatically will respect you. But if you're bragging on yourself, and that selling agent has only been in the business 2 years,
Right.
they might think you're a jerk. So you have, what I mean?
Right,
So you have to be
right.
real careful. But I just try to find out as much as possible. And then there's always, and then you guys did a show on it, the love letter. You can put the
Right.
love, but you have to be very general on that now, because there's been lawsuits over those. You can't put, I like your neighborhood because of whatever. You have
can't
to say,
put pictures in.
yeah, you have to be very vague, and that's what my VA people. I tell them, you're going to have to, I serve our country. I love your house.
Right.
Keep it vague, but where you don't, you have to just. It's a different. There's freedom of speech, but then there's also where you can't pick. And it's right in the listing contracts and in your purchase contracts. You can't pick who you want to purchase your house based on anything.
Right.
Just because, I like I'm a dentist, and I like their smile. They have great teeth. That's not,
Right.
you know what I mean? You have to pick it because they were the highest bid, they're you know what I mean? They were
Right.
your strongest buyer, has nothing to do with anything about them. But that letter where they say, especially people that have lived in a home and raised a family, if they say step to the point where I would love to live in this home and raise a family like you did, or something to that extent, they may feel more like connected to you, and they
Right.
may take your strong offer the same. They may take it just based on that letter,
Right.
which I have had them.
And that, as long as, like you said, it's kept vague, that's fine.
Yeah. Because I won't go into the lawsuits, but there are some
Right.
lawsuits that.
And no pictures.
Yeah,
You can't put a picture in there.
So we got the love letter, we got the closing date, we got the home inspection period, we got the acceptance, and then of course the price. The price is going to be based on, when you go into that home, and if you pull up and there's an agent leaving and there's an agent behind you, you're at price or over. That's like your first hit. And if your clients are like, oh, if no one's there, it's been on the MLS for 9 days, and you're in there, that agent might have an offer, though, still. So don't assume.
Right,
Don't
right.
assume that. And they may let you out the house. They may have just let you go there, and they have a contract, and they're having the seller sign it right now. and you're out of the house showing it, and you're like, this house, I'm going to send an offer over, it's going to be less, it's been on the market 9 days, nobody wants it. That's another, thing that happens to people. And then you call in, you go, hey, I just want to make sure, that there's no offers on this house. And they go, oh, we're accepting one right now, sorry. And you go, then you're irritated. Yeah, you're irritated or whatever. So what you want to do is on your way there, you want to make that call. Even though it shows active on the MLS.
Good thought.
Yeah, you want to send a text over, hey, just making sure this home is still, because your time is valuable.
Yep.
So you go there, and I went one time, and there was, where was I? Newport Richie, off of Rowan Road, kind of by Carlton Arms Apartments.
Mm-hmm.
There was a house there, and I was walking in, and as I was walking out, I just texted the agent, and I texted him on the way, no response. Text them on the way out, we're going to send an offer, and they said, oh, sorry, we're already under contract. We took this first one day on the market. We took the first contract because they said that they would purchase it for the right price. And I had the same thing in downtown Newport Richie too. My poor customer, she was so. But anyway, these cars pull up, and I know because agents, they get like, I don't know, not shifty, but they get like a little like, we're all in competition now. It used to be like, hey, so-and-so, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so they walk up, and I said, hey, you guys, just so you know, I just called him. He just called me back and said they're under contract. They're signing it right now. He's like, are you kidding me? And said choice words, which I can't put on this show, in front of his client. Client's mad. They're mad. And I'm like, you can call and verify, but I'm just, I was just telling you guys. And other cars are pulling up, so everyone's wasting their time. And right now, gas prices are up and stuff. So
yep, they are.
Yeah, yeah. So if it's like I'm driving like 45 minutes, and you didn't tell me, it can be a little heated conversation, with like, why you wasting everybody's time?
It comes down to professional courtesy,
Yeah.
right? So, for some reason, that seems to be lacking lately. It's like kind of cutthroat and.
Yeah, exactly. So again, as a seller's agent, I've had my voicemail get full in one day, and I've had them call my office, and I've had them, you're not calling me back, and I'm there making your appointments, making sure that it's okay with the seller every single time, contacting, doing all this stuff, and then setting up the days. So the one I had in Tampa was a condo, and it was literally like 30 people, and she worked the really odd hours, and so it was like I was having them come between up to 11, and then she took a break from it was like 12 to 2. So it was like a lot of work. And so one agent called my office and was like, she's not calling back. And I'm like, you guys, I had like 30 showings. And to the point where I just sat there outside the place because I had a bunch of showings. I was sitting on the steps and people didn't even know who I was. And they're like, I walked in, the one lady had the key. We were literally taking the key, it was like a relay race with the key. And so we were like one to the next one. And then I said, do you guys mind if I show at the same time? Because I was just trying to get out of there because I'd been there. It was like an open house not even on purpose, And she was the one agent, obviously we never mention names or anything, but she just said, well, this is our time to show. And I said, oh, I know. She'd been in a while, And I'd done them every 15 minutes. So I was like your 15 minutes is up. I was like, okay, will you just let me know? And she goes, wait a minute. Are you the listing agent? And I said, yeah. And I said, yes, I am. And she goes, oh, that's fine. Go ahead and show that. And I was like, oh, I see how it is, But yeah, so she was like, I'd love to work with you. And but they came in. They were a cash buyer, but they came in low. And we waited for our financed offer on that one. And so on that one, I had 17 offers. So it was very, it was very confusing. So the selling, if you're just a buyer's agent, you're just like, these selling agents, they're so rude. But when your phone is just ringing and ringing, and then you have the public ringing, then you have some, sometimes mortgage people are ringing. Yep. And then you have other agent, not to be brag on myself, but I have other real estate companies are like, you're busy, you want to work for us. And then I have Realtor.com trying to sell me ads, and I got Zillow calling to sell me ads, and then all that, and then you have, so you're going to miss some calls, and so I empty my voicemail out at night, and so right now I have everything except for one under contract. I have one in David Drive in Brooksville still for sale, and that one is cash only. And I had
Why is
one.
it cash only?
It was, this, I can ask you this actually. We only have 2 minutes left, but I'll ask you this real quick. So I believe this is still the same. It was a mobile home. It is a mobile home. It's a 2000, which is totally mortgageable, but it was foreclosed, pulled off the land, and then reinstalled permitting elsewhere. So now cash only.
Cash only.
Darn it. I was hoping that changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found out the hard way on the last one like that. Same seller, and we're there with the financing, and they were like, and I was like, no, it's all strapped up to code. And they're like, this was on another piece of property, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, and so I called the seller. Is that right?
Was this on another piece of property?
Yeah, and then he said, yeah, it was. Why? What's the big deal?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, we're about to find out what the big deal is. No financing. So I have a cash. I had one fall through for relocation, and now this one, I have another cash offer coming in on that, so that should be. Then I have 5 voicemail messages right now that I just have to delete. Otherwise, because usually you can't even call me because it's like full. I have to go, I have to delete. So it's actually, I don't want to touch wood, I don't want to be slow, but it's nice to have not miss any messages.
Right.
I was missing people's, because I'd be like, it's 7 in there, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh my gosh, so sorry to my poor customers, Yeah, but.
So I think it's going to level off a little bit too, don't you think? Are you seeing a little bit of leveling off? We're
Yeah.
not getting 32 offers on a property anymore, or 17.
Yeah.
It's getting a little bit lower.
Yeah, exactly.
I've noticed open houses are getting a little bit slower. I'm doing a lot of
Yeah.
open houses on the weekends, and they're a little slower.
Yeah, I think it took, I think people are going back to we need to think about it. If it's still for sale in a couple days, we'll put offers in.
Right.
So I just put usually a week bid deadline on them now. If it seems to be that momentum and they're all starting to offer. If not, I just, leave it for sale and see
Right.
kind of, But
So there's hope out there.
yeah, so if you and then make sure if you do sell, you price it at market. And if they want to go over and go crazy, that's on them, and you tell them to bring cash. But if otherwise, price it right at market
Right at
value
market.
still. So, all right, everybody, have a great weekend, and we will see you soon. Buying, selling, give me a call.